All right, join with me today is OG Diamond Dave, who is underpowered OG Diamond Dave, overpowered D's. You were number 2 to finish the Race to X Professor X saga. How's it going, my guy?
It's going great. Exactly as we expected. We did 11th in Odin, and the goal was top 10, and we made top 10. So I'm excited and stoked.
Yeah, looks like a lot of people in your alliance. I know Johnny fairly well. I've met him in person. Are a lot of the overpowered D's. Looks like you guys are ahead of getting these. I hope we don't play you in Alliance War. That's all I got to say. My goodness. Okay, so a lot of people are having questions about what characters worked, what characters did not work, what part of it was easy, what surprised you. Should I take Spider Society in there to do it? Will Daredevil Modern be garbage? I mean, these are all the kinds of questions I'm getting all day long, and I'm sure you stream, so you get these questions too, right? What was yeah, let's talk about the first part, which is the city section, which the developers have suggested what? Oath, Blade, and then they just said Vigilante, but then it looks like it's coded for like Sable to be amazing because she gets her, you know, she doesn't need the full team, and then she also, like, a lot of her bonuses that are outside of, you know, the raid specific bonuses and things like that are turned on, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I did the same thing. I saw the recommendations and I thought probably not a requirement, but probably gonna need these characters. So I did the 4 vigilantes that we have today, and then I did Blade and Oath. And I started with Daredevil Modern, Silver Sable, Punisher, and Blade and Oath. And I said, we'll bring in Elektra if we need to and see where it goes. So we did on auto, essentially the first section, auto the second section, and the third one, I wasn't paying attention and I went in with Elektra and it didn't do so well. Like, so Elektra instead of Daredevil Modern. So that was a lesson to be learned. Daredevil Modern, Silver Sable, probably going to be the team that you want. That was just a mistake because I was trying to go too quickly, and I went in and it was like, wow, what happened? I mean, it was autoable, and then it got to like undoable. And I took it off auto. I tried to recover and tried to play, and it was just like, nope, we got wiped really quickly. So I would definitely suggest Blade, Oath, and those 3 vigilantes in Silver Sable.
Okay.
And Daredevil Modern and Punisher for sure.
Okay,
and it was
so Punisher is a viable option again instead of Hitmonkey, because Hitmonkey's not even in the game, but Elektra is straight garbage.
That's what it felt like. That strong words. It felt like Elektra was very useless to me. Yeah, so I don't know about straight garbage, but yeah, it was a challenge, that's for sure. So you want to make it a little bit harder for yourself.
And you might not have the answer to this question because a lot of people are like, well, is my 3 red, you know, Daredevil Modern going to cut it? I guess you're probably the wrong person to ask because you had diamonds on these guys, I'm guessing.
Yeah. 1 diamond Daredevil, 2 diamond Silver Sable, and I was actually intentionally going to go in with like a 4-star unlock. And then today at the last moment, I caved and said, no, I don't want to hinder myself and do that. I've got a couple friends that were telling me in chat that they got through it with their 5-star characters. And they said, oh yeah, we can do it too. And so it's very well possible, but that's just what I hear from the hearsay. Mine were 1 and 2 diamonds respectively.
Okay, so the next stage that requires 20s is going to be Gear Tier 20 Global Villains. Is that correct?
That's right.
Okay, so who did you take into there?
So I was prepared with Orcus, Omega Red, and Apocalypse. So I had 6 characters ready to go. I did not take Lady Deathstrike, even though she's cheap. I didn't like her. I prefer the revive on a node where you have to have all your characters live at the end. I wanted to go with the revive, and the pings can be kind of helpful from Omega Sentinel. The 4-piece Orcus and Apocalypse were autoable.
Okay.
Audible. It was it was just a check that I had it and we walked right through it.
Yeah, I heard that APOC kind of carries this, is what I've been hearing from a couple people in chat. So that's so you went Apocalypse, Scientist Supreme, Nimrod, Omega Sentinel, and Sentinel.
That's right.
Okay, so you left off Lady Deathstrike, and it was no problem whatsoever.
No problem at all.
Okay, the next section is Global Heroes. Who'd you take in?
This one was, I did 4 Liberty, no War Machine, And I had Old Man Logan, I had Black Knight, I had a couple others, and Emma X, the new Emma, ready to go, which is interesting. So the first 4 nodes before 4 or 5 before you get to the boss, Old Man Logan and 4 Liberty, easily autoable, very quickly to get through the nodes. When I tried to bring in Black Knight and Old Man Logan into the boss, this was the hardest node. Did this node probably 4 or 5 times, trying to figure out what the heck happened, because he spawns in your team, they lap you, and when they have a Black Knight or they have Old Man Logan, you just, one of your characters dies before you take a turn. So that was a surprise. After the first like hour, you were just really watching the auto button go down. That was the first little wall that we hit. So MX helped me a ton. There's probably going to be several strategies that come out and ways that you can get the right RNG so that your Old Man Logan doesn't die right off rip. But I had the extra characters. I figured let's just try it. Let's make a change. Juicy did tell me, he's like, hey, maybe you should take out the Old Man Logan and BK. Maybe give it a shot. And we put in Emma, and the rest was history for sure.
Okay, so you're talking about what worked for you was 4-piece Liberty with new Emma Frost X-Mid is what worked.
That's right.
And so you actually struggled with Old Man Logan and Black Knight. I mean, you're like you just said, maybe you could do it over and over and over again and eventually get it to work. But for you, it worked when you did the 4-piece Liberty, No War Machine, and Emma Frost X-Men. Very interesting, by the way. Who would have thought, right?
Yeah, it was really interesting to have to take Old Man Logan off of your roster. It was very like, well, that's weird. But when they get a copy of him and he's lapping you, it doesn't feel good.
Right.
It doesn't feel good at all.
All right. So this is just our initial first incoming information, and this is firsthand information. This is not speculation. This is actually your experience. So maybe somebody else will have a different experience, but for now, what you're saying is 4-piece Liberty, no Old Man Logan, and Emma Frost worked quite great for you. Then we're going to go to the last section right here, which was, you got 2 more sections, which is Cosmic Villains. How did that go?
Cosmic Villains was fairly simple. So I had Mephisto, I had Shadow King, I had Thanos, I had Super Skrull, and I had Null.
Okay.
And we had Gore on the bench. At one point in time, there was some characters that got charges. I think it was a Miss Marvel. And I thought, maybe I should have brought in Gore. It didn't matter. It didn't matter. With those 5 characters, it was a breeze. We just walked right through it. Okay,
so no surprises there. You're talking about the heavy hitters that people are going to want to take to 20 anyways. Mephisto, In-Game Thanos, Super Skrull, Shadow King, and Null. I think those are no-brainer characters anyways, right?
Yeah, Shadow King is insane. Okay. Shadow King at Gear Tier 20 is one of the funnest characters to play with. When he gets his ult off, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and the pings are not assists, and they're proving to be very impactful almost everywhere. Right?
Absolutely.
He's pretty good. Now, the last node is, I'm guessing, Odin is a mandatory character, and then also Lalandra is required. Who were the other 3 that you took?
So I've got full Starjammers ready to go. So I did KAHHORI, Havoc, Odin, Lalandra, and Howard on the last nodes. And the nodes before the boss, no problem. Smooth sailing. I did one attempt on the Dark Boss with that crew. KAHHORI just felt real useless, and we lost someone. I said, let me bring in Groot for some extra healing. I've got healer on Groot. And it was just enough healing to get through it. It was just enough healing to get through it. So I think you could probably still do it with KAHHORI, maybe just reset a couple extra times. But the first time I brought in Groot, so it was 4-piece Starjammers plus Odin, we one-shot it.
Wow. So what I'm getting from what you said on your run, Black Knight, Old Man Logan, and KAHHORI did not help you. On your personal run.
Yeah.
Your personal.
No regrets. Those characters are amazing. No regrets, right? Love those characters in War and Crucible. So no issues with bringing them up, but they were not as impactful in the actual event for sure.
Yeah. So what you were saying is that at the end of the day, Groot was more helpful than KAHHORI. And
that's one way of putting it.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. That's what. And then you were also saying is that the new Emma was more impactful for you than Old Man Logan. This is just wild, right? Like, who would have thought?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a interesting time. I mean, I was also hoping that maybe KAHHORI might take 6 turns right off rip against Dark Xavier, but that didn't happen.
Right.
That's only in one other mode where she likes to take that many turns right away.
Right.
So,
and then
that was sad.
And lastly, what we got is that Hitmonkey was not required. Punisher worked fine, and it's most likely that Elektra will not work at all.
That's what it feels like. That's what it feels like too.
Okay.
I found myself specialing a lot too with Silver Sable, you know, to give out a tip there early on. Like when she first goes, the special felt way better than the alt, just in my tips. So if you're having any issues with Silver Sable and you're not sure why, I would consider specialing on the very first attack or first turn, and then alt when you've got enough characters for it to be, you know, impactful.
Okay, that sounds like a plan. Well, you are the best. Thank you so much for sharing your personal experience with going through the Professor X saga. Have you got to play him much already?
In arena, we did some arena fights. We messed around. We tried to get the alt to proc to see the animations, and actually got wiped. So Professor X is not unbeatable. But if you want to know what team beat Professor X, you'll have to see which team ability blocks him to get him off of his special first.
Yeah, he can be shut down, that's for sure, but I still think he's pretty strong. If you can get him to the well, first of all, he typically is deleting somebody with his special, and then if you get to the ultimate, he's winning the match. I mean, that's when I played him, that's what happened. I think you need just like a pre-taunter to like keep him protected.
Yeah, that's it.
Maybe even Black Knight. You know what I mean? It's like it's like that weird of a character might be what it takes. I don't know. All right. Well, thank you so much. You're the best. Bye for now.